Komura is your average loser simping on popular girl of his class since childhood. Upon getting into high school, he finally decides to rizz her up so he can achieve his lifelong dream of clapping her with glasses on. However, before any of this, Komura keeps thinking about my AI while walking to school. He is having trouble understanding his feelings, but finally, like every twisted fool, he gives these unreasonable emotions the name of love. At the school, Mai sits beside Komura and he keeps looking in her direction. He got to know her 3 days ago when the class was reshuffled. He is drawn to her beautiful big eyes and seems to have a kink for glasses. One day, he walks into the classroom and notices his goddess rubbing her eyes. At first, he thinks she is just acting cute but notices she is missing her glasses. Komura is surprised when Mai addresses him and tells him not to be intimidated by her scary look. She tells him she forgot her glasses at home and asks him to help look for the history book. Happily, Komura offers Mai his book, but she pulls her chair close to him to share it. Overcome by this closeness, Komura almost goes freaky but acts tough. After a while, unable to take in her cuteness, he gives Mai his book saying he rarely uses it. Unable to read properly, Mai gets very close to the pages so that her eyes can adjust. Just when he thinks that he has gotten a bit close to his crush, Mai drops the bomb on him by asking who he is. Turns out, she couldn't recognize his face because of her bad eyesight. Komura introduces himself and she remembers him as the guy who sits beside her. Noticing Mai's goldfish memory, his happiness disappears as he wonders if she will remember him tomorrow. After school, Komura finds Mai by the locker where Komura notices that she has mistakenly opened his locker and was wearing his shoes, making the ultimate dream come true for a guy with a foot fetish. Komura helps her look for her shoes and they find a frog sitting on them. He probably wanted to sniff her feet as well. Mai had passed this locker taking the frog for green stripes. Komura has a mini climax as he puts his feet inside the shoes. As they are leaving, Komura stops Mai to tie her laces and has to suppress his urge to sneak a peek inside her plot. He is caught off guard as Mai brings her face close to Komura's and thanks him for taking care of her. At night, Komura wonders if Mai will ever forget her glasses again so he could have such a good day again. The next morning, on his way to school, he notices Mai without her glasses and hears her say that she broke them. During the dodgeball game, he acts as Mai's shield and takes all the hits. During the lecture, when the teacher notices her sleeping, he tries to trick him by saying that she has to bury her face in the book to read. When Mai wakes up, the dumb girl takes Komura for her father and rests her head on his shoulder. This moment of eternal peace is short-lived as the teacher smacks her awake. The next day, Komura feels sorry for Mai as she was missing her glasses, but it turns out she was wearing a contact lens. For the first time, she gets a clear look at Komura's face. The next day, Mai serves stew to everyone and Komura distributes bread rolls. Due to the problem with her eyesight, she keeps overflowing everyone's bowls and lands herself in school management's worst nightmare. Seeing her spill stew on every plate, Komura offers to exchange positions, but she refuses repeatedly. One chubby-looking student asks Mai to put some extra meat in his bowl, but she offers him extra potatoes as there isn't much meat. He happily agrees to it, but Mai fills his bowl with meat. After serving everyone, they fill their bowls and Mai puts a lot of meat that she was saving from the start in Komura's bowl. She tells him that this is her way to repay for his help during the previous days. As they are having lunch, everyone notices how Komura's bowl is filled with potatoes. Mai breaks the streak after managing to wear her glasses for a week and takes out her contact lenses. Seeing her struggle, Komura tells her not to force herself as he will protect her. Days go by and one cold day, Mai fails to recognize one of her classmates due to her fogged up glasses and almost reports him as a stranger to a teacher. She keeps dropping mini bombs on Komura and one day she asks for his number to call him in case she needs help. Surprised by getting Mai's call on a holiday, Komura hurries to meet her at the station. She tells him how she slept on the train and forgot her glasses while getting off the train. Turns out, she has a very important place to go to and wants Komura to take her there. She sucks Komura's soul out as she asks him to hold her hand to guide her. They reach the cake shop to get the limited time cake that she was craving and Komura has to feed it to her as she can't see it. He apologizes 12 times to his father-in-law for 12 bites of cake. Later on, they go to a shop to pick up her new glasses. Seeing her vision come back, Komura feels there is no need for him anymore and is about to leave when Mai stops him, saying that she wants to spend more time with him as she can finally see him crystal clear. They visit a bunch of places and Komura has to keep on pinching himself to make himself believe that it is not a dream. The next day, she comes in with a mask as she has gotten a cold. Seeing Komura make fun of one of his friends for his fogged glasses, she is embarrassed that he will mock her too and takes off her glasses that were getting fogged due to the mask. Komura finds Mai by a roadside, meowing to a plastic bag. Having spent so much time with her, he immediately understands the situation. Mai had forgotten her glasses at home and thought the plastic bag was a cat. Resisting his urge to capture the cute scene in his camera, he goes to help her out and saves her from embarrassment, but she thinks he is a cat as well and starts petting him too before he can explain the situation to her. One day as Komura enters the classroom, he is hit by a thunderbolt when he sees Mai talking to Azuma, the most handsome guy in school. He was helping Mai look for her glasses in her bag, and that breaks Komura's heart. After finding the glasses, Mai addresses him as Komura and is embarrassed when he tells her that his name is Azuma. This makes Komura take a sigh of relief, but Azuma gives him a deadly stare. Poor guy just made enemies with a hunk over a blind girl. To prevent getting wrinkles between her eyes, she relaxes her brows and gives one of the most cute expressions that captivates Komura throughout the whole day. Mai asks Komura to play word chain with her to train her for a match against Asuka. She tells him to use difficult words and they end up talking throughout the day, which pleases Komura. On cleaning duty, Komura notices a cockroach on a wall near Mai. To keep her calm, he asks her to come towards him instead of telling her about the insect. Another girl notices the cockroach and screams, which panics Mai as well, and she clings to Komura. One day, an excited pair of girls drops a letter in front of washrooms and Mai finds it on the floor. She is missing her glasses, so she asks Komura to tell her who it is addressed to. He notices the heart-shaped stickers and the romantic design, signaling it to be a love letter. He tells Mai that it is for Azuma, and before he can tell her that it is a love letter, she gives the letter to Azuma. This action gives everyone the impression that it is from her. Craving more drama, the whole class surrounds her and asks if she likes Azuma. Thinking they are asking for a general opinion, she says yes, which causes a stir among girls. At the off time, Azuma gives her his reply in the form of a note and she gives it to Komura to read it for her. The letter said, "Komura likes Mai." Reading this, Komura blushes and tells her it says thank you instead. Azuma then explains to everyone that Mai was delivering a letter for someone else. Komura is walking home on a cold evening when he decides to warm himself with a hot coffee. As he turns the corner, he finds himself face to face with Mai is trying her blind luck with the machine to get a hot cocoa. She takes a sip to find that she has landed black coffee and offers it to Komura, who gladly accepts it, but the thought of his future father-in-law beating him for getting an indirect kiss makes him refuse it. Afraid of getting late, Komura is sprinting towards school when he meets Mai, who is also running. She fails to recognize him as she has forgotten her glasses today. At the red light, Mai mumbles about her messy appearance and how she wants to get ready before Komura can see her. Hearing these remarks makes him zone out for a moment and he fails to reach school on time. During PT, Mai ends up stepping on her glasses and injures her knee. Azuma acts as a trained wingman and sends her to the nurse's office with Komura. Mai complains how she has put on some weight and accidentally steps on the weight machine. Noticing her mistake, she threatens Komura with life and tells him to erase this memory. Seeing her struggle, Komura offers to help Mai put up a poster on the blackboard, but he too isn't able to do it. Azuma came strolling and easily puts on the poster, which makes Komura insecure about his height. Mai reassures his short king, saying that he should not grow any taller because this height is ideal for her to reach his face. The next day during a lesson, the class notices a heart-shaped cloud and a few of them snap a photo of it, which pisses the teacher. Mai is unable to see the cloud properly, but Komura, being the Riz King, takes a snap of the cloud. He sends her the photo at night, which makes her extremely happy. One day, Mai is looking for her glasses when a class fellow, Sumya, calls Komura. She gives him Mai's glasses that she had found in the washroom. Komura tries on the glasses and the strong lens makes him lose balance and he falls towards Sumya. Mai arrives at this immediate moment and thinks that the hopeless flirt is doing the infamous wall press. She runs to push him away but is embarrassed when she finds the background. It's been a long time since Mai forgot her glass, but one day Komura forgets his notebook. Eager to repay him, Mai pulls her desk with his and points out that she just realized how close they are when they do this. She invites Komura to help her pick new glasses, but he isn't much help as she looks cute in every frame. Mai blushes at his comments and picks up her usual design. The next morning, she tells Komura that she broke them during her sleep. Komura is out in the market and looking at the Valentine's decorations makes him wish for a Valentine's Day gift from Mai. Just as he says this, Mai arrives on the scene and overhears him. She asks what gift he wants from her, but he tries to change the topic. It would have been obvious if she could see the decorations, but God of Luck was taking his side today as Mai had forgotten her glasses. He successfully deceives her and takes her to the supermarket to get ketchup. However, seeing the red decorations there reminds her of Komura's gift and she resumes asking him what he wants. She notices a pile of chocolates, but Komura pulls her in the opposite direction. He ran out of luck as a stall offered sample chocolates over there. Tasting a free chocolate, Mai's sluggish brain finally figured out that Valentine's Day is around the corner and Komura wants chocolates from her. Valentine's Day finally arrives and Mai successfully distributes her chocolates to her friends even though she doesn't have her glasses. Komura is content thinking that maybe next year he will get actual chocolates, but his utopia is destroyed when Mai comes to give him chocolate, but sadly she is out of chocolates. She feels bad and asks him to stay after school and proposes to make it up for him by making any of his wishes come true. Komura decides to confess his feelings and Mai mocks him, asking if he wants to use the restroom. Suddenly, she finds a piece of chocolate in her pocket and gives it to Komura. The white day has arrived and Komura has got a pack of chocolate for Mai in return for a Valentine's Day gift. Just then she arrives looking like a zombie and asks Komura to keep her from eating anything sweet as she has gained weight. Hearing this, Komura puts his chocolates back inside his bag but watches as several people give her a bunch of snacks. Mai is tempted to eat them and tricks him, calling them cough drops, but Komura stops her from doing so. When she couldn't hold herself back, he gave Mai his chocolates and she ate all of them. After collecting the required points, Mai is looking at the card to redeem a cake, but she has to post it today as the expiry date is tomorrow. Komura offers to take her to the post office as he doesn't want her to go to a new place without her glasses. He refuses his friend's plan to go to the arcade, which makes Mai feel bad. She tells him not to worry about her and to go with his friends as she has her contact lenses. Mai demonstrates her elite visual prowess by reading a paragraph to the teacher, but gets struck by complicated words and had to cough her way out. Determined to not get Komura's help, she struggles to read the notification about the change of classroom and heads to class 2 instead of 1. She realizes her mistake when she enters the empty class. Seeing her absent, Komura figures out and goes to look for her in class 2. He meets her midway and she tells him that she didn't want Komura to miss out because of her, that's why she acted as if she could see. He assures her that he won't miss it as he remembered about a nearby postbox. He accompanies her there and goes to the arcade after dropping her home. A whole year has passed by and now they are in their senior year. During the orientation ceremony, Komura is in deep thought regarding his previous year, and is brought back to reality when he is nominated for perfect attendance along with Mai and Azuma. He notices people talk about Mai's rude glare as she is missing her glasses again today. Worried about seeming rude, he teaches her acupuncture techniques to calm her down, but holding her hand makes him nervous. After getting the award, he steps aside and thinks about how great the past year has been. The teacher put a lottery to decide their seats for this year and Komura got his previous seat in the corner where he is paired with Hibachi, a new girl in class. He is worried about Mai's seat and is shocked to find her sitting next to Azuma. Seeing him nearly fainting, Hibachi offers him water. Suddenly a girl comes and tells Mai that she is in the wrong seat. Azuma helps the blind girl find her seat and Komura is relieved to see her sitting next to Sumya. After a while, Hibachi asks Mai to switch seats with her as she has a problem seeing from the last row, and Mai happily comes to sit beside Komura, saying that the teacher won't notice her dozing in the back. In the art class, they are split into pairs to draw each other's portrait, and as usual, Mai has forgotten her glasses. She is having trouble drawing Komura and tells him that she will draw his impression from her mind. Komura is so impressed by the silly-looking portrait that he is willing to purchase it and hang it in his room, but the teacher reminds him that they have to submit their portraits. In the bathroom, Sumya approaches very close to Mai's face, which causes her to feel awkward. She thinks this might be how Komura feels as well, so she refrains from doing it for several days. At off time, Komura came to grab his bag and found Mai's glasses on the table. Komura took them home for safekeeping and felt as if he is taking a living girl in her room. Seeing Komura's nervousness, his mother thought he is taking plot magazines into his room to do the deed. Komura is unable to focus on his work and continuously has hallucinations of Mai. He takes care of the glasses as if they are some ancient family heirloom, using all his cleaning abilities to make them sparkle. While cleaning her spare glasses, Mai thinks about Komura's fingerprints on her glasses and it gives her butterflies. She calls Komura to thank him and tells him how it feels like she is having a sleepover at his house. Komura couldn't sleep all night as he kept fighting his thoughts about clapping Mai's glasses. At class, Mai throws her face into Komura's out of habit, but it didn't surprise him as much. However, she leaned too much and ended up falling on him. Legend has it that Komura praised gravity as the ultimate god from that day on. Mai tells him that this had happened with her father as well when she was little. Later on, a girl tells Mai about a curl in her hair and she is unable to fix it as the class is about to start. Komura finds the curl cute on her and she stops panicking only when he tells her that it looks good. On a rainy day, Komura is feeling sore all over and Mai insists on giving him a massage. He feels good and notices her write something in a notebook. It turns out that she makes a list of things she can do for him even when she doesn't have her glasses, which makes him blush like crazy. At off time, Komura was sleeping on his desk but woke up to see Mai touching his arm. Embarrassed, she opens her arms and tells him that he can observe her as well. In the art class, they are split into pairs to draw each other's portrait, and as usual, Mai has forgotten her glasses. She is having trouble drawing Komura and tells him that she will draw his impression from her mind. Komura is so impressed by the silly-looking portrait that he is willing to purchase it and hang it in his room, but the teacher reminds him that they have to submit their portraits. In the bathroom, Sumya approaches very close to Mai's face, which causes her to feel awkward. She thinks this might be how Komura feels as well, so she refrains from doing it for several days. At off time, Komura came to grab his bag and found Mai's glasses on the table. Komura took them home for safekeeping and felt as if he is taking a living girl in her room. Seeing Komura's nervousness, his mother thought he is taking plot magazines into his room to do the deed. Komura is unable to focus on his work and continuously has hallucinations of Mai. He takes care of the glasses as if they are some ancient family heirloom, using all his cleaning abilities to make them sparkle. While cleaning her spare glasses, Mai thinks about Komura's fingerprints on her glasses and it gives her butterflies. She calls Komura to thank him and tells him how it feels like she is having a sleepover at his house. Komura couldn't sleep all night as he kept fighting his thoughts about clapping Mai's glasses. At class, Mai throws her face into Komura's out of habit, but it didn't surprise him as much. However, she leaned too much and ended up falling on him. Legend has it that Komura praised gravity as the ultimate god from that day on. Mai tells him that this had happened with her father as well when she was little. Later on, a girl tells Mai about a curl in her hair and she is unable to fix it as the class is about to start. Komura finds the curl cute on her and she stops panicking only when he tells her that it looks good. On a rainy day, Komura is feeling sore all over and Mai insists on giving him a massage. He feels good and notices her write something in a notebook. It turns out that she makes a list of things she can do for him even when she doesn't have her glasses, which makes him blush like crazy. At off time, Komura was sleeping on his desk but woke up to see Mai touching his arm. Embarrassed, she opens her arms and tells him that he can observe her as well. Komura is walking to school in the rain and meets Mai on the way, who apologizes for forgetting her glasses on a rainy day and proceeds to step into a puddle. Her feet are soaking wet when they reach the classroom and she feels uncomfortable in wet socks. Unable to bear it, she asks Komura to look the other way and takes them off. Seeing her bare feet, he has a hard time controlling himself from rubbing one out and keeps on looking outside the window. Walking back home, Komura sees Mai in the playground waiting for her mom to return from work. She asks Komura to push her swing, and in the middle of it, he remembers that people in front could see her plot, so he stops the swing suddenly, but Mai relieves him by showing shorts underneath the skirt. At night, Komura wakes up by Mai's call, who meant to call Asuka. She is having a sleepover at Asuka's house and has forgotten the way to the toilet in the dark. Komura advises her to use the phone torch and she realizes the extent of her stupidity. He sings her a song on her request and suddenly Komura hears her mom going to the toilet. She must be thinking late night singing is a ritual of boys who hit puberty. He resumes his performance as she returns to her room. Sadly, he doesn't get lucky as Mai remembers to put her phone on silent before using the bathroom and comes back to the room in one piece thanks to Komura's guidance. At school, Komura is wondering how people with weak eyesight see while swimming, and he gets his answer when Mai puts on prescription goggles. Everyone notices him glaring at Mai in a swimsuit and declares him a creep. After school, Komura gets some snacks and finds Mai having an ice cream. He grabs her hand to stop her from throwing the stick as it has a reward, but she gives it to Komura. At school, Komura enters a back alley while following a cat and notices that he has walked in on Azuma being proposed to by a girl. He immediately hides behind a tree to avoid an awkward scene, but the cat comes to him and starts meowing. Luckily, the cat walks away towards Mai, who is meowing around to attract cats. After a few pats, he comes back towards the scene and Mai follows behind it. Scared of her getting second-hand embarrassment, Komura pulls her behind the tree to hide and they wait for it to end. She thanks Komura for saving her and they enjoy the sweet moment. Later, the class is having a field trip to a museum, and while they discuss their plans, Komura's friends notice him looking at Mai repeatedly. Finally, they tell him to join her group as she might forget her glasses on the trip. However, one of his friends tells him that both groups can join as the member limit is 6, and they go to talk about this. Mai's friends are teasing her and Komura overhears her saying that she wants to join him. He proposes the plan and all 6 of them happily agree. To avoid forgetting her glasses, Mai puts a spare pair in her bag before sleeping. Mai reaches school and reveals that she stepped on her glasses while rushing to reach on time, but the bombshell hits her when she notices that she has brought her non-prescription glasses. She is practically as blind as a bat and has trouble writing reports, but trying not to ruin their trip, she doesn't tell this to anyone. Komura notices this as she falls on him and shows her a poster to ease her in writing reports. After a while, Mai finds herself lost in the complex and texts Komura, who locates her and becomes her knight in shining armor. Mai breaks down in tears and tells him that she hates to cause him problems, but her silly brain always gets her in trouble. She is sad about ruining his trip, but Komura comforts her, telling her that he wishes that she forgets her glasses every day because he feels good when she depends on him. On their way back, Mai shows her cotton candy level sweetness by holding his hand. Looking back on the field trip, Mai decides not to rely on Komura too much and puts on contact lenses when she forgets her glasses. Her friends are talking about her seriousness regarding her glasses when Asuka gets a message from Misaka and she rushes away. Toyama tells Mai that her facial expression shows that she is in love. Unable to understand this emotion, Mai goes to the teacher's office and meets Komura there. She closely observes him and notices that he has the same expressions as Asuka. She realizes her love for Komura and runs away in embarrassment. Mai forgets her glasses again and is delighted when Komura offers to share his book with her. Mai brings her face super close to his before she runs off to the washroom. Watching them lovey-dovey, Sumya teasingly asks Komura if Mai just kissed him, but Hibachi clears the suspicion by telling her that Mai does this when she is missing her glasses and takes her away. Mai passes them as she enters the classroom, and seeing Komura frustrated worries her, but he lies to her, saying that he is getting a cold. Mai gives him a mask from her bag and keeps on staring at his face suspiciously throughout the day. On the basketball court, Mai steps on a ball and falls on the ground, hitting her head. Komura takes her to the infirmary where she is given an ice bag. They talk about everyday life and the conversation steers towards arcade games. Mai tells him she used to sneak out to play them, which confirm Komura's suspicion that she is from a wealthy family. Mai complains like an angry girlfriend that he didn't talk to him much today as he hung out with Sumya. She tells him that she wants to have a close look at his face at least once a day, and he happily allows her. His hands get sweaty as she keeps on staring at him for minutes. During cleaning duty after school, Mai's hair gets stuck and Komura stops her from pulling it forcefully. He nervously cuts them free with a shaky hand, trying his best to minimize the damage. He handles the severed hair with utmost honor. May drops her hairband one morning and asks Komura to do her hair for her. He performs the ritual nervously, and Mai increases his heartbeat by saying she wishes him to do this every day. Cultural festival is approaching and all of them are staying late to help with decorations. Mai comes to Komura to help him with pasting stuff but messes up a lot, so he sends her back to her previous job. Komura runs out of glue and goes to grab a bottle from the storeroom, but Mai follows him into the empty room and pins him against the door. She demands to look at his face, making him pray no one walks in on them. When they return to the class, Komura listens to someone tell Mai to wash newspaper ink off her hands, and he is terrified to look at his blacked face that had gotten ink from her hands. Komura's mother suggests he get his ears pierced out of the blue, but he refuses, saying that he already regrets dyeing his hair on her suggestion. His mum must have been a part of the Tokyo Manji gang, but thinks such things suit good-looking people like Mai or Azuma. When he enters the classroom, he finds Mai bent on the floor looking for a small bead. He is surprised when she shows him the ear bead, and his heartbeat raises on imagining her ears pierced. He tries to look at her ears all day but fails. At the end of the day, Mai tells him that she doesn't have any piercings and that these beads are to serve as the eyes of one of the stuffed toys she is preparing. He ends up looking at piercing posters all night just because Mai said he might look cool. As the festival is drawing closer, they decide to stay till 7 to complete the work, but Mai has a curfew after 6. Wanting to spend more time with Komura, she risks getting scolded and missing her Coco the next morning. Komura walks by her phone and sees her mother's missed calls but hides them from Mai. Looking for him, she also passes by and glances at her phone. Scared of her mother, she hurries back home and wears her gym shoes as she has trouble finding her shoes. Komura feels bad for being the reason and takes her shoes to her house. He lies to her mom, saying that he mistakenly wore Mai's shoes home, giving her the impression that she got late looking for her shoes. He is relieved the next day when Mai doesn't call him a stalker. At the cultural festival, Komura has fun reading Mai's silly stories about how she loves her father and lost her money gambling. He is impressed by the careful detailing of her stuffed toy and is embarrassed by his poor performance when he sees Mai looking at his pinball. During prize distribution, he watches Mai leave the auditorium and follows her. They sit on the bench and compliment each other's contributions, and Mie demands to look at Komura's face. He hesitates as they are in public, and Mie holds back, realizing she is being a pushover. Komura tells her to do as she pleases and gathers the courage to hold her face for the first time. My daddy zones him, giving him the ultimate title every sick creep wants, and they go back to the auditorium. The school year is about to end and they think about their future fields. Komura is an aimless bum, but Mie suggests he should be a gamer or something cool. He shrugs off this idea as Mie reveals her daddy issues, telling him about her childhood dreams of marrying his father. She shows him a photo from her childhood and he looks away quickly. She proceeds to show him photos of her dishes and expresses her part-time desire to be a chef. At night, Komura goes through his playgroup diary to look for his childhood dream and finds that even as a kid he had a side character dream of being an office worker. The next day he fills his first option to be Mie's husband, but starts erasing the absurd thought when Mie approaches with unexpected eagle eyes and reads the letter husband. The thought of losing Komura makes her mood gloomy. During home economics class, Mie is grouped with Azuma and others while Komura grasps to survive this crisis. Mie makes arcade coin-shaped cookies to uplift Komura's mood. Azuma helps her and tells her that he is making a bird-shaped biscuit for the girl he likes, but is hesitant as she is a college student. He tells Mie that he will tell her someday about his feelings. After the class, she says bye to him and praises his maturity in front of other girls. Komura runs out of the classroom enraged. Midway, he hears his name being called and turns to see Mie panting. She ran after him to give him the cookies, instantly making his anger go away. He comforts her and tells her that she is not slow but easygoing and positive. Komura goes through his childhood photos and finds her mother's cringe side as he only had photos falling. At school, a photo of Komura having a nosebleed after failing a hip flip falls out of his book and Yasaka grabs it. He shows it to everyone and Mie brings it so close that it touches her lips, making the photo a national treasure. On the way back, she takes him to a ground to play and leaves him there to grab her glasses from her house quickly. She returns and demands to see the photo again, but Komura had forgotten it at school, so she asks him to show her the hip flip. He fails once but succeeds the second time. Mie captures him doing the stunt and takes a selfie with him afterwards. She tries it but fails cutely. These successive events end up giving Komura a nosebleed. Mie forgets to wear her prescription glasses and brings her fashion glasses instead. She makes Komura try them and asks him to send a selfie as she couldn't see him properly. She tells him to take them home when he refuses to take a selfie at school, but finds her prescribed glasses in the case. She tells Komura to wear them for the rest of the day as he looks good. Komura is looking at her hair when Toyama makes her a braid and praises them. Komura is impressed by her hairstyle and keeps looking at her throughout the day. At lunch, he points out a grain of rice in her hair and she opens her hair, making him curse his eyesight. During the lesson, Mai's wet hair moistens the pages and she gets Toyama to tie her hair back and smiles as she sees the look on Komura's face. Walking back home, they talk about their preferences about foods and dresses when they separate to go to their homes. Komura watches a guy approach her and he stops to see if she needs any help. He leaves after finding that he is an associate. She forgets her glasses on the second day in a row and tells him that she met an old class fellow but was unable to recognize him because she kept forgetting her glasses. This makes Komura wonder if she will recognize him after a few years. Komura sees Hibachi having problems with her lens and wonders why she never forgets them. This makes him suspicious that Mie forgets them on purpose to share a book with Komura. They have a summer break and Komura tells Mie that he will be going on a family vacation to study hard for entrance exams. The idea of not meeting him for so long makes her sad. He tells her not to forget her glasses on their exams and she promises to keep a spare with her. At the test, Mie tells him that she remembered her class fellow when she saw her graduation photo. He was Komura's total opposite because he kept teasing her when she forgot her glasses. Komura concludes that Mie will forget her the day she stops forgetting her glasses, but this day seems like 1,000 light years away. On the way back, they stop at the playground to have fun, but Mie remembers that she forgot her shorts, so they cancel the plan. They have a face reading session in the small space on top of the slide but leave it in between when things get too heated. She tells him not to forget her over the break, but he grabs her hand as she is going and proposes to meet during vacations, which makes both of them blush. A flashback from 10 years ago shows Komura helping Mie buy ice cream and get home safe when some boys steal her glasses. Young Mie expresses her desire to have a kind husband like him and ends the show on a cliffhanger. That's it for today, my fellow men of culture. Like and subscribe the channel for more plot-filled recaps.